Hello, thank you for inviting me. My pleasure to be here this afternoon.
So, Silvina, I gave a little bit of a background of why we're having this call, this webinar today, and I said that this is really us decided to go and really provide clarity of what is the situation in Argentina, what is happening, what are rumors versus what's actually is happening and going on. So I already gave a bit of a background of you and the fact that you are basically the lawyer that knows everything about Argentina, that have dealt with more than 100 cases that people have gone home and have their birth certificate and everything, and that's why you're here to provide questions and answers. We already requested from everyone, put all of your questions that you would like, and hopefully we can answer them. I think that we will not answer questions now. Manu and Eitan will not answer questions right now because there's a very good chance that this question will be answered anyways. Plus, we would like you to address all the questions as much as possible. We have only 50 minutes to answer. This is the webinar of 1 hour, and if there's more questions, they can reach out to us, and we'll be organizing it all and get more answers. Or if we need, we'll do more of these webinars. We're happy to answer and provide clarity. So, I'll start like we're now with Israelis, and Israelis just in many cases they just want, let's cut to the chase. So I'm going to ask the question that if we did a webinar in Canada or a webinar in other countries, maybe we'll save that question to the end. But I'm going to ask right away, and I want a very short answer because we're going to dive into the things, if that's okay. So the first question, the bottom line, can people, whether they're same-sex couple, not same-sex, can people here on this webinar and people around the world still go and do surrogacy in Argentina safely and knowing that they will end up with everything that they need in order to go back home?
Absolutely, yes. Argentina is a safe place to do surrogacy.
Thank you. Now, let's talk a bit about what's happening in the last while. So first of all, I want to address that there was an article a few days ago, or not really a few days. Like, I mean, we'll talk about what happened, but there's been an article that came out from an organization that talks about Argentina, talk about what's happening. What do you think of this article? Is this article accurate? Is this article provide the real story of what it is? We're going to dive right away after that into what actually happened, because we like, and I'm just saying here, people from Israel, we like to know clarity exactly what happened. Wrong, right, different, happy, sad news. And that's what we spoke about. And I think you're the same. We like that everybody knows everything. So what do you think about this article of growing families that was posted?
I was very sad when I read the article. It has a lot of incorrect information for start. They say there's a lot of families talked here. That's not correct. We have only 30 families. Since
13.
30 families. When you count Argentinian families and families from abroad. 30 families of 3 agencies. They were stuck here because we are undergoing this.
1 second, we'll get to why stuck here. More about the article itself. Should people trust this article? Do you think that this article provide right information?
No. It provides wrong information. That information is not correct, doesn't help, and they mix some concepts and mix some situations that they are separate situations and nothing to do with legal surrogacy here in Argentina. I don't know why they decided to publish that, but it's not correct. That's not reality, what's happening in Argentina.
So before we really dive into like is surrogacy legal in Argentina?
Okay, I will start saying that since we don't have a law that regulates surrogacy, all we don't have in a law that forbids or prohibits to do, it's legal. So if you don't, do you say violate public law? If you respect legal principles, all you do is legal. So surrogacy, it's legal. You can't do surrogacy in Argentina.
Okay, good. Now, is that everywhere in Argentina?
Yes, everywhere in Argentina, yes.
Okay, what about when we're saying focusing on Cava, Buenos Aires? First, I mean, even what is Cava, but a lot of places are saying surrogacy in Argentina is only regulated or legal in
Cava.
Buenos Aires, in Cava.
That's a
So,
mistake. Okay, we have a difference between Cava up to now. Now we are all the same in all the country. Up to June, we had different in Cava that we had class action. And as a result of that class action, a judge ordered civil registry to register babies born by surrogacy as the babies of the intended parents without asking authorization in court. That made a difference because it was faster, easier, and be honest, less controls. Okay.
So normally I will not translate anything, but this is very important to translate, saying that
Please.
until June, I'm just going to repeat what you said, that until June, in Buenos Aires, people didn't need to go through a process of court order and judge decisions to grant the parents to be parents. And so that's really what and in the rest of the country, they could do surrogacy, but they had to go through a judge.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yes.
Okay, so surrogacy is legal everywhere in Argentina. Does anybody can access surrogacy in Argentina? Same-sex couples, yeah?
Yes, same-sex couples, different-sex couple, monoparental, only mother, only father. We have no problem with that.
Okay, thank you. So now one very important question before we dive into the problem, one last question. And there's a lot of misconception about it. People are talking about surrogacy in Argentina is altruistic. You know, Canada has a model of altruistic. Surrogacy in Argentina is altruistic. Or some are saying it's commercial. Can you clarify, is surrogacy is altruistic, or are we allowed to pay a surrogate in Argentina?
Yes.
To compensate.
Compensation is allowed in Argentina. If you have a sister that's going to be pregnant for your baby, we understand you are not paying her, and judges, they understand that. You have to have a relationship, your friends, your family, whatever. If you don't have that relationship, if it's not your cousin, your sister, it's accepted that you are going to compensate her. Why? Because she doesn't need to expend money for your baby. She doesn't need to get poor for having your baby. She's not going to be a millionaire or be rich because of your baby. That's why we call solidarity surrogacy, altruistic surrogacy, and not commercial surrogacy. But judges, they know and they accept that surrogate women are compensated for surrogacy process.
Yeah, and judges accept that.
Yes.
So summary, it's not altruistic here. I mean, I'm here and I see, and I've always been really, and some agencies say this is altruistic, and I disagree because women get paid. But one of the differences that we see is, and we have, like Babies Come True have our own agency in the United States. In the United States, there's a woman come and say, well, I want to be a surrogate and I want $60,000.
Yes.
And we say, okay, if this is what you want, I mean, in our case, we'll say go to a different agency because it's not what we're accepting. However, in this case, that we're in, they can ask for how much they want, and they're entitled to ask for how much they want. But in Argentina, it's a bit different, right? They cannot just ask how much they want because nobody's going to agree to somebody that's going to say I want 40,000, right?
Yes.
So can you explain a bit about that?
Yes, I think it's like this amount of money that every
They're all
agent.
getting the same.
I'm sorry,
More or less, they're all getting more or less the same. Like it's
Yes,
that's
yes,
solidarity.
yes.
It's
I think in the last 6 months, we found an agency that was paying 20% more. And some surrogates, they decided, okay, they are paying 20% more. But at the end, market stabilized, and everybody's paying the same amount of money.
right. But
$1,000
just
more,
to
1,000
clarify
less.
for everyone, surrogacy in Argentina is not altruistic. So even if people are saying that they are. So what makes the surrogacy, not from a legal point of view, but from intended parents versus surrogate, what makes the journey legal? What are the things that judges are looking at? How do we know that this is the criteria to make it legal?
Okay. In Argentina, you have two sources of filiation. One source is when a woman gives birth a baby, and the other one is the procreational will. So when you go to the judge to ask for authorization, you will say, the surrogate says, I don't have procreational will. I don't want to be the mother of this baby. I am always only helping these people. And the parents, they say, we have procreational will. That's the first element you need to have. Surrogate and intended parents, and everybody is agrees that surrogate woman only is helping, and intended parents, they have procreational will, and they are going to take all the obligations that paternity brings, and surrogate doesn't have any of that obligations. When the baby is born, she's not taking care of the baby, she's not feeding the baby, she's not allowance the baby. Intended parents, they take care of all those aspects. That's the first element you need to find. That's what the first element judges are going to see. Second element, you have lot of protocols and requirements that you need to complete to show the judge that you underwent a legal process. In those requirements, you are going to find that every document needs to be signed in front of a public notary. That's very important, because that's going to show the judge that everybody was free to choose to go to, under this process. Everybody.
So that's really the solidarity, right? It's the free will. And
It's
that's
the
why
free
some
will,
people are
and
saying that it's altruistic, but it's not. It's just
no.
It has to be a free will.
Yes.
Nobody can force somebody to be a surrogate.
Exactly. And that you are sure that everybody understood the process, the dynamic, and consequences. And everybody had their rights under cover. Your surrogate is going to have an independent lawyer. Your parents are going to have another lawyer. Public notary is going to certify about freedom, identities, and date. Because you can't sign today and the baby is going to be born in 3 years. Judges needs to see that you had an adjusted timeline. You will, I always ask my clients to include in all those signatures, medical doctor's participation. The doctor in charge of the fertility treatments is going to sign the documents with intended parents, the lawyers, and the surrogate. And we always include a translator, because the judge needs to be sure that everybody understood what they signed, what they read, and what they accepted. All the other requirements you are going to complete with your agency. This is very important. Which agency are you going to choose? Because there, as every part of the world, you have people that works okay and people that doesn't work okay. For example, your agency, you have psychological evaluation, social workers evaluations, medical evaluations, health insurance, life insurance. You have for surrogate, every time, every step of the process, help ready to be with them. If they need psychological help for her or her family, you are going to provide the same psychologist that evaluated her is going to be with her if she needs to talk to her. It's very important that when you evaluate a candidate to be a surrogate, you need to be sure that your surrogate has a job, that the money that she's going to receive for this treatment is not the only source of income she has. She needs to be a mother, or she needs to be already a mother. She needs to have her children with her. So her children needs to be alive, and she couldn't lose custody of his kid. That's important. She needs to live in a house, not necessarily her house. She maybe pay a rent, but she needs to have water, bathroom, hygienic conditions. She needs to be free to decide to undergo this process. This cannot be her safe life, safer. She needs to have a job and she needs to be educated, because you need to be sure that your surrogate understands this process. That's what is going to guarantee you and judges that she's free to decide what she's going to do.
Thank you, Silvina. So basically, the one thing that I want to make clear here and ask you, that not all agencies that offer surrogacy in Argentina operate the same, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I think that you spoke mostly because you know our program and you know that we are meeting the standards, but some of the things that you say, others are not meeting the standards.
No, of course.
And it's something that we want everybody to make sure. So we don't know if you're already in the process. Things that you said are really important for us. There are things that are absolutely requirement and things that we do on top of it, like the fact that we do psychological evaluation and the fact that we insist on independent legal advice, but not everybody insists on it. So is this the reason why we're talking today? That there are some agencies that have done something that pushed the government to react.
Yes.
So tell us what happened. I think that's what everybody's waiting for you. Tell us what happened shortly.
Yes.
What happened?
This is what happened. They found that in Córdoba, a province in the north of the country, they have some clinics with agencies inside. And you need to be an independent agency from the clinic, because the clinic is medical procedures, only that. And the agency is another aspect of the process. These clinics, they had an agency inside, and they found that they were using as surrogates women that wasn't educated. They didn't understand what they were going to do, and they start to suspect that they had trafficking.
So now what happened when the government have found out that there is an investigation, like they open an investigation basically?
Yes, and they saw that in some cases, those clinics and surrogates, they went to court to ask for authorization, but they started to lie. They started to say, okay, we came from any country and she's our friend, and that was not true. You don't need to be so clever to realize that that's not true. And they said, okay, stop. What's happening in the Autonomous City of Buenos Aires? Because if we don't give them the authorization here, they are going to give birth in Buenos Aires. They are going to register the baby with no control. And we don't know if we have here in front of us some case of trafficking. That's why in Buenos Aires, they stopped this measure of registering baby without court control.
So basically, they have stopped issuing and I want to say automatic, but it's not automatic. They stopped issuing birth
Directly,
certificates
yes, it was a
for
direct registration.
surrogacy babies
Yes,
until somebody is looking at the documentation and see that there is no human trafficking happening in each case,
the
which
judge
is
said
which is normal for everywhere. Like if
yes, it was
in the world.
like abnormal here to do that, and that's what happened. Lots of people without control started to do everything. They lie, they changed some sensible data. So the judge said, we are not talking about illegal or forbidden surrogacy. We are just asking, come every case and ask for individual authorization.
Yeah. So basically, Silvina, if it's okay, I could say you have done surrogacy journey in the United States and you had to do exactly the same, right?
Of course, I have my court ruling, yes.
Yeah, you had to go through go and go to court. Oh, well, not you. Your lawyer had to go to court and
my lawyer, yes, in the United States, she went to court.
Yeah, so it's not different.
No.
Like, so what we're gonna talk about, it's not much different than the United States or Canada.
No.
That the preference is something that you and I share.
Yes,
because
I am a lawyer, so I like judges. That's my comfort area. It's my comfort area. And I think that gives security.
So people basically, starting when are in work or starting to be in this stuck situation, starting when that happened.
You have two different cases. 6 of these cases, they have a lawyer, and when their babies were born, they went to civil registry to submit petitions. The civil registry observed some documents, and their lawyer didn't arrive on time to correct or complete or file those observations. So they were in the middle of that when this judge decided to stop delivering this birth certificate. 6 of them. The other 24 were born in the middle, and they submit petitions, and this order suspended delivery of birth certificates without judge order. So they were stuck during this adjustment, but this is administrative adjustment. Yesterday, the civil registry informed these 30 couples that from today on, they are going to receive their birth certificates for the babies born before 6 June 6th.
Okay. So basically what we mean is that as of yesterday, and it's good timing, I guess, for the webinar, the issue has been resolved. And the 6, and basically you divided by 6 people that actually had a problem. Like they looked and the documents had the problem, and that's considered the human trafficking, and they had to suspend them and say, wait a minute, before we give the baby, we need to investigate. The other 24 people were stuck because of the fact that they, like, the government stopped before figure out what they do. So what has changed now in the process? So have we, I mean, and I want to speak here, and I'm going to say that in Hebrew as well, that Babies Come True have a different process. Since we met you, since we started, we requested that every single client of us will go through a court order and not just an administrative process. So the clients of Babies Come True are not impacted by any of this to begin with, because this is us just being, we have brought the North American standard into Argentina, and we insisted. Remember that you and I spoke, and you even told me, Neil, it's not needed here. And I said, we don't care.
I would prefer that,
we prefer to have that, and you agree with me that this is much better, but you told me that others are not doing it. So for Babies Come True client, there's no impact whatsoever. The process is still the same. We start at week 20, and soon you're going to explain everything of how we're doing. But for people that not all people here from our agency, not all of them are our clients. It's open to whoever wants to hear. So what has changed now? What is the process that they need? They basically need to go and request a court order, show all the documents, and the judge needs to be satisfied that everything is
Yes.
by the book.
Yes, they are going to do this up to June. They wait for their baby. When the baby was born, they go to civil registry, submit a petition, and 4 weeks later, they receive birth certificate. Now, during pregnancy, or when the baby is born, but we prefer to start during pregnancy, we go to court and we ask the judge with all the documents signed in front of a public notary and say, please order the registration of this baby when the baby is born as the baby of the intended parents. Judge will say, okay, please first come here, minor defender. We have here minor defenders that takes care of minors. And he's going to read all the petition.
Like a social worker, basically. Some
No,
sort of, is it people who
no.
protect like people protect kids here from child trafficking?
Yes, yes. Not social worker. They don't ask where they live or how they live. They only make sure that they are not selling or buying babies. That we have everybody here in free will and freedom to decide and take care with their rights, taking care because a baby is going to come to the world. So when they read that and when they say, okay, we are okay with this, or please ask the intended parents this, or ask surrogate this, or show me psychological evaluation, then when we pass that stage, judge is going to decide. And he's going to tell the civil registry, okay, when the baby is born, you can register this baby as the baby of the intended parents. No surrogate's name in birth certificate.
So this is a good question. Everybody, like in the web and that, people are saying, well, a surrogate's going to be on the birth certificate. That's not the case. A surrogate still cannot be on the birth certificate in Argentina, right? Even if people need it, it's not possible.
No, if you need it, it's possible, but you are going to lie to the authority. You are going to say, okay, she's my partner. And
No, but
then
that's not. Yeah.
Some people, or some agencies, they are saying to their clients, okay, we are going to lie. And we are going to say, okay, we are here to register this baby. They are going to submit the petition, no explanations, and civil registry is going to deliver birth certificate. We had 2 cases. And what they are doing is they are going back home with that permission. Surrogates signed a permission for traveling, for living, and they are starting this process to remove surrogate's name from the birth certificate.
But here in Israel, and we are giving this questionnaire to Israel, everybody don't want the surrogate on the birth certificate.
No, I don't want them to.
So is that possible?
Way.
Is that possible that the surrogate will not be on the birth certificate? That's in every case, right?
Yes.
So there's no any changes that suddenly a surrogate need to be on the birth certificate.
No, no.
Okay, good. So now what we basically want to do is so starting this week 20, or it's really depend on the agency. There could be an agency that decided to do it after birth. We have decided that we're doing on week 20
During
to basically
pregnancy.
do something called a pre-order. If people have heard of that pre-order thing, is basically go on week 20 in order to not waste time, and in order to try to get the court order in time. Court order can take long, I think up to 12 weeks or something. Or
yes, I would say we have some cases that we had that decision in 12 hours, but that's exceptional. I don't say that to intended parents because that's not true. It's better to say 8, 10, 12 weeks. So it depends on the judge.
In our process, so in our process, we decided to start on week 20 to create what we have a pre-order. Some people here questions say there is no pre-order, but there is. We will request to have that pre-order. and basically it should reduce the time that people wait after the birth because we started the process earlier, right? So can you explain about that, how the process will work? But I just want everybody to understand that it's not every agency is following that process because it's not a must. It's create a lot of more work for the agency for sure. And not every agency want to spend that time and money to do that extra work.
That's correct. We all the lawyers agree not to go before embryo transfer because at that moment the judge is going to say, okay, if we don't have any baby, I cannot decide about the baby we don't have. So in week 20, 22, we have a viable pregnancy and we go with the doctor's medical certificate to say, we have this woman, this surrogacy process, the baby is in progress, pregnancy is in progress, we have 22 weeks pregnancy. We go to court with that.
So,
and other agencies, they decided to wait for birth and go after birth. Most of the lawyers I know and I work with, we decide to go during pregnancy.
Okay. So we don't have, I'm just going to say we have about 17 minutes. I have 2 or 3 more questions and then we're going to start asking some. There is a question that I want to ask. It's a little bit different than the regular, but there was in the Israeli group some question and comment and asking about what happened from a legal point of view in case the baby at 16 or 18 weeks, after 14 weeks, they discover there's a problem with the baby. And if the doctor will say, basically, is it legal? Because when you Google, it says up to 14 weeks, you can terminate, then after, no. Can you explain what happened if in week 16, 17, 18, and up to what week there's
we have a law that regulates interruption of pregnancy until week 14 with no reason. After that, you can interrupt pregnancy with a doctor's order.
Right. Okay, so basically, if I'm comparing it, then the only way that I compare it is compare it to Canada. So basically, it's like in Canada, not like in the US, where you can terminate in some countries and not. In Canada, it's if there is a need to terminate, it's possible. Is there a week that after that you cannot terminate?
Yes, sometimes when you arrive to week like 30,
right,
doctors, they don't sign that order. So they say, please wait until the baby's birth because he has viability after week 28. So week 30, 29, you will not find a doctor that signed that order.
So until week
it's risky.
14,
it's risky
until week 14, a woman who's pregnant or a surrogate can go into an office and say, I want to terminate, and nobody's going to ask her a question, and she can.
And it's
After
free.
that, it's free, right? It's covered by the health care.
Yes, it's covered. Yes, you don't need to pay.
But after week 14, a woman cannot go and terminate unless the doctors see a risk for her or a risk for the baby.
For the baby, yes.
Yeah. Now, and at that point, they can terminate until a certain week, where at that point, you can't terminate anymore. But there's enough time to make decision if there is an issue.
Yes. But in Argentina and as in the United States, the surrogate is the last source of consent. So she's going to sign all the documents, she's going to decide it, but when the doctor is going to embryo transfer, he will ask for the last time her in the clinic, in the OR. Are you okay with this embryo transfer for these parents? She's the last source of consent. So freedom and free will here is supreme principle.
So, okay, so now thank you, Sylvian. Just a question now. Going back to this process, do you suspect, or do you think, or do you know that if we start the pre-birth order at week 20, if it's gonna make the process longer after the birth? So how long do you think that people will have to stay after that if we start at week 20?
I always say that the pre-birth order is going to deliver to the civil registry when the baby is born. If the baby is still no unborn, we cannot go to the civil registry to register a baby that is not born. So they will take like 2 or 3 weeks to deliver birth certificate. It's not going to be one day to okay, come back tomorrow that I will give you birth certificate. That's a reality. They are going to read, they are going to control, they are going to call the judge just to be sure that the document I delivered, I submit, it's the correct document. So maybe 2 or 3 weeks, you are going to wait for your birth certificate.
So why would there situations and the people are waiting for very, very long to get a birth certificate? Is that because they're not starting it on time? Is that because the lawyer may
And
not
now,
be aware
because
and good enough to deal with this?
because some
What do you?
parents, yes, what's happening now when the babies were born, some of them, they have submitted their petitions and they decided to wait because every week everybody said, okay, next week, next week, next week. So they decided to wait because they prefer not to go to court. Other lawyers decided, I don't know why, to wait. And in the middle, we had these holidays for court. Every year, we have 2 weeks in the middle of the year and 4 weeks in January. We don't have court activity in January and 2 weeks in July. So I don't know, some lawyers decided just to continue waiting. And yesterday they said, okay, so that's okay. I have some petitions in court and I am working on those petitions. And my parents, they have submit the petition for the babies born 1st of June. And I already have my court order in court. So I opened 2 ways because I need them to go back home. So the one that comes first, that will be the winner.
Thank you, Silvina. Thank you for clarifying it. What advice would you give to intended parents here, whether they started the process or not? I think that most of them have not gone too far. What advice are you going to tell them about how to select the agency? What are the things that you need to verify with them? Because a lot of people are offering guarantee packages and here and that sound very, very
okay,
good.
no
But
guarantee packages.
What are the things that you see that is happening?
This is what I see. I see people asking, I want guarantee package with only male babies. Okay, guarantee packages, not possible. Male babies, okay, but be careful because we cannot destroy embryos here. So you need to decide what you're going to do if you have female embryos. You're going to donate them, to preserve them, whatever. This is the first thing. You cannot sell a guarantee program. Nobody can guarantee life. So that speaks about the agency. The second thing, you need to control your agency's protocols. As I said, you need to have good level of surrogates. They need to be educated. They need to have a job. They need, or some source of income. Some of the surrogates women, they have a husband that work. So it doesn't matter if she doesn't work, but she has a husband, she has family support, she has kids. The agency has psychological support, social worker informs. For me, it's important, very, very important that the money is in an escrow account. Because
The
you are
money in
going,
escrow account
yes. As
in Argentina.
No, nobody has escrow accounts. You have escrow account.
I think we're the only agency, at least
Yes.
far I know, we're the only agency who
Yes, you
people
are the
put the
only.
money in the US
Uh-huh.
and we're dispersing it until the milestone and not sending it to other places in the world.
Yes.
Now,
for me, that's very, very important. That guarantees you that your agency
and what about,
is going.
I mean, this is a medical as well. Like, what do you say about there's a lot of suddenly new clinics are popping up and offering this. What do you think of the medical process from a lawyer point of view? I mean, we know we work with one clinic, which clinic we work with. I think that clinic
There's
is
a
the
lot
most
of clinics.
experience in surrogacy, but tell us.
There's a lot of clinics that are trying to start doing surrogacy. I think only in the Autonomous City of Buenos Aires, maybe 5 or 7 clinics, they understand what surrogacy involves. And another thing that I will say, I don't know if you agree with me, But for me, it's important, where is your baby going to be born? In which clinic?
Hospital. In which hospital
Yes.
they're going to be born.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. For me,
So
that's the most important thing. I always say you have 3 private hospitals in the Autonomous City of Buenos Aires, that they are top 3 hospitals. They understand surrogacy. They are used to have intended parents. But for me, the most important thing, they have very, very good NICU. Because when your baby is born, the only thing that matters is NICU and pediatrician.
So here I'm going to ask you, because I mean, we have spoken about the stuff, and even before I started the program, you told me the same thing. What do you think about the hospital that we are working with in terms of our standards?
It's the best hospital in town. It's a very traditional private hospital, but it's the best hospital in town. Otamendi is the best hospital in town.
And the NICU?
It's wonderful. My nephew
So that's
was
something
my
very
nephew,
important for people here
yes.
to know. Very
Yes.
important. It's important to know that the surrogate has a good medical health insurance, which, by the
Yes.
way, by the regulations, the intended parents need to pay for it. She needs to have that, but some can work with, you know, a cheap and easy insurance, and some work with the best. And I think that the art program that works with very good health insurance. And I know that in our program, the baby is covered under that
Yes.
program. If
Yes,
there's issues
because
and there's an NICU and the complication, the baby is covered under
because
that insurance.
you can find that the health insurance covered the delivery in that hospital, but not baby's attention. If you have a cheap insurance, they can cover birth, but not NICU. So you are going to move the baby. So for me, it's very important, a good health insurance. You have 5 companies that covers everything. And that's important for intended parents when they are looking for an agency, what they are going to evaluate, all these aspects they need to evaluate. It's important.
Anything
It will
else
make
that
a difference.
Yeah. Anything else that the intended parents need to know about your advice? Or now we can, if not, we can go. We have 5 minutes, and there's some questions that we can.
No, I always say, just be careful. You need to know the lawyer who is going to do all the documents, and to be sure that you're going to sign those documents in front of a notary, because you can hear that some lawyers, they say, okay, don't pay a notary, don't go there, because if you don't obtain pregnancy, maybe we can sign it later. No, everybody needs to be covered, and signatures in front of a notary, it's very important. It's for legality.
So here I'm just gonna ask you, and you know, a lot of people will say here, no, you know, Silvina, she's hearing that. Of course, she's gonna say that babies come to is okay, but really, as a lawyer, compared to other, because you're a lawyer of several.
Yes,
and
I am
many actually
independent. Yes, independent
lawyer,
lawyer.
not our lawyer.
Yes, no, that's my best
Tell us,
asset.
what do you think of our program in terms of, is it the same as everyone? Do we have higher standard? Do we have any risk in our that things are not the right way? Please tell us and be as frank as possible. I know that people might not believe it, but as a lawyer, please say.
Yes, I will say this. What I see, I don't know prices of your programs. I never ask my clients if you are cheaper or more expensive. I don't know. I see this. You have a good clinic, a very good clinic, because all the clinics, I can observe this. They say, okay, we have some egg donors, and then they don't. We have some, and then they don't. So you have a good clinic. You have a very good level for surrogates. It's different. You have different women. They're not the same women for other agencies.
Well, different requirements, you mean?
Yes, because you have educated women, you have women with jobs, you have women with family support. Sometimes you find some women that you are not sure if they understand what we are telling them. And for me, it's very important that all your surrogates have their independent lawyer. They interview them, they talk to them, they know them. sometimes you see that, okay, this lawyer, her lawyer, but they don't know each other. When you meet for signatures, you realize that, okay, he's his lawyer, but they don't know each other. So it's important. She needs to be covered because she needs to be safe, and your parents needs to be safe. They always ask, what happens if she doesn't want to give me the baby? Surrogates, they ask us, what happens if they don't want their baby? So the same fears that they have, and you need surrogates to be comfortable, to be protected, and intended parents as well. If you follow all the protocols, if you observe the law, if you tell the truth, and if you go to church with all your requirements completed, you will not have any problem. Because what judges look for is for trafficking. You don't have trafficking. So you don't need to hide or to lie. You are going to go with the truth. We are an agency, and everybody talks about agencies are illegal or not illegal. Okay, we don't have a law that regulates agencies, but you don't do nothing illegal. You coordinate, you arrange appointments, you meet people, you take care of people. That's not illegal. If you receive money from surrogates, that's illegal, but you are not doing that. And some agencies, I have a problem with another agency. I am the lawyer of some parents, and this agency received the surrogate compensation, and they don't have a surrogate. So where is the money? Nobody knows. This happens here and every part of the world. So for me, it's important to have money protected.
Well, that's trust comes in, right? Okay. Well, look, we're just gonna stay for a few more minutes to answer the question. I know the webinar finished now, but if people wants to stay for a few more minutes because there have been some questions here, we're happy to answer. Some of them I'll translate to you. Some are in English, some can be translated, so we can actually answer. Some of them already been answered, but we can just repeat. So, again, I think 5 people are asking very specifically from the minute of birth until
yes,
they
that's
can go on a
important.
plane. How long do they need to plan?
Okay, that's 2 things important. In Argentina, you're going to be with the baby from the first second. You don't need to wait to be with your baby. It's your baby. You are going to be in the delivery room, and the surrogate is going to give you a baby. And she's going to say, I am not the mother of this baby. I want to be in a different room. I will not take care of this baby. I was in a situation that some parents asked surrogate could you take care of the baby because I'm going to buy a coffee? And she said, no, it's not my baby. So you take care of the baby. You cannot obtain a coffee. This is not my problem. So you don't need to wait to be with your baby. And maybe you're going to be here after delivery for 3 or 4 weeks. But if you need to go to the embassy to register your baby there, every embassy has different times. So yeah. I will always say
this is a part where this is the part where I can say that that there hasn't been a case in Israel, as you know, that people were actually the baby was born and went back to Israel. However, at least in our agency, we're making sure that there's a court order so they won't be delayed. Because if the administrative process and they're not accepting it, the court order. We also know that in many cases, at least in Canada and the United States, they're requesting from the surrogate to come and sign in front of the embassy that she is not the parents of the baby, and the surrogates know that it's happened. You explain them that they need to do it, and it's something that can be done if it's needed. And by the way, at least in Israel, we know that it also can be done after the parents leave, if in case needed. But because all of our surrogates are from Buenos Aires, it's easy to achieve. To
go with them, yes. And there are some countries, for example, some countries from Europe, Spain or Italy, we cannot help you here because a lot of Argentinian people are going now to those embassies to obtain their nationalities because we have grandparents or these grandchildren law in Spain. And if you ask for an appointment today, they will give the appointment from here to 2 years. So we can't help those embassies. All the other ones, yes, we can help.
Yeah. Also, like, so once you get the court order, how long does it take to get a passport in this case?
When you obtain your birth certificate, so 2 or 3 weeks, with that, you go to an airport and you obtain the passport in 2 hours.
Okay, so it's very quick after that, and then you can leave and
Yes.
finish the process in your
Yes.
home country.
Yes.
In Israel, they might be just like in Canada and US that they want to start the DNA swab
yes, another thing
for the embassy.
Another thing is important. You can't refuse Argentinian nationality. Your baby is going to be always an Argentinian citizenship. Argentina says you can receive 100 more nationalities, so we don't have any problem with that. We cannot refuse Argentinian nationality. So for some nationalities, it's important from India or China. That's important. Your baby is going to be always an Argentinian citizenship.
Now, let me ask you, because there's a lot of that, and maybe people here are interested. If the baby that was born here under surrogacy have an Argentinian nationality, are the parents entitled to be citizens as well?
Yes,
because
but no automatically. Yes, but not automatically. They need to be here for 2 years and pay taxes.
But it's an important message for people here that if they have a baby from surrogacy and they decide that they want to move to Argentina, raise babies in Argentina, they're entitled to come right away. They're entitled to stay. And after 2 years, they can get citizenship if they want.
During that time, they are going to be residents. We have permanent residence. It's automatic. Permanent residence, it's automatic.
So that's important. Okay, so a few more questions here because I want to make sure that it's that. What is what are the risks if a judge in court about resolution is confirmed by court appeal or by the court of appeal? So basically, I think that the question, if I'm not mistaken, is basically asking what happened if the judge decide not to accept,
not to register the baby.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have any case here in the past that a judge say no to surrogacy. So if you show all the documents, if you explain the situation and you exteriorize your procreational will and the surrogate says, I don't want to be the mother of this baby, I am free to decide, you are not going to have a negative decision. We don't have history of that any part of our country.
Thank you. Another question that the same person said, I've read on, I think, some lawyer or Fabiana Queenie website that there are no pre-birth court orders in Argentina. Does that mean that that the process can happen after birth? But I think we spoke about that we are having
I don't know why she's saying that. I don't know why she says that. I'm sorry.
Okay. So now can two, and I think we answered it, but very quickly, can two same-sex couples, so two dads, can be registered on the birth certificate?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, there was another question here. If the surrogate to appear on the birth certificate, is she not considered as a parent, but the surrogate doesn't appear in the birth certificate, right? So that's not the issue. Okay, I think that we spoke. This is another question about the time, but we answered that. Does signing in front of a public notary requires a physical attendance in Argentina?
It's important. No, you don't need to be here to sign. We use here since pandemic a very good app that the notary college administrates, and it's a digital application for digital signatures. So notary is going to have a Zoom, and he's going to share a screen, and the screen you are going to see the document, and you need another device, a phone. He's going to give every person a code. You will see the document in your phone. You sign with your finger, and when you put confirm, your signature is going to appear on the screen. And you always need to have your camera on. That's important, because even when I sign every day this document, he knows me. He says, okay, please, camera on. Doctor's camera on, everybody camera on, because he needs to see who is signing.
Okay,
If
thank you.
If your surrogate is married, husband is signing.
Okay. Next question that I'm trying to see here. This is a bit of a different question. They're asking how long before the baby is born they should be in Argentina. We advise 3 weeks before the pregnancy, but anything can happen. I mean,
I would say, please program to stay here for 8 weeks.
So before and after, up to 8 weeks, it shouldn't happen. But we also advise 3, 4 weeks before, so you'll be prepared. You know where you are. Deliveries can happen earlier. It's not a machine that you press a button. It can happen that it is, and you want to be there for the birth, and not miss. We spoke about the termination. So basically, can a judge basically say, no, I'm not giving grant to the baby?
Okay, I don't think so, but you can appeal, and the superior tribunal is going to decide. But when you start, the first thing we ask is, please order this registration, because we have in Argentina our constitution and some international pacts that Argentina signed, and they are part of our constitution that talks about rights of kids, identity, best interest of the child, right to have a family. And if you go to court and say, there's a mother that doesn't want to be a mother, she gave birth, she's going to give birth, but she's not the mother, and we have a family here, you will always follow this principle, it's best interest of the child.
Which is to be with the biological parent?
Yes, or not, you don't need to be biological parents here, because we have a very, very good law that regulates a genetic material. You can receive donations, and you only need to have procreation or will. So you don't need to have a genetic connection for Argentina. For other countries, yes, if you want to give your baby grant your citizenship, yes, that's a different question. But here, you don't
Silvina,
need to have.
I don't know if the internet had a problem here or had a problem there. So I would like
home,
to just
maybe
re-explain everything, if you don't
In
mind.
Argentina, you don't need to have genetic connection with your baby. You need to have procreational will. We have a very good law that regulates genetic material donation. So if you sign all documents about donation of your genetic material, it's okay for us. Some other countries, they will ask to have at least one of the parents with genetic connection, not Argentina. Nobody's going to ask if you have or not genetic connection. He disappeared.
No.
I can ask.
Where is he?
Yes. So I also wanted to check, because like we have more questions here. So one of those, it was like they were asking, in case of the pre-court order on week 20, so do we have to be in Argentina to do the notary sign? So it's no, okay,
No,
because
but
it
you
was
need
answered.
yes, but you need to sign at home a power of attorney. You cannot sign that power of attorney digitally in Argentina. You sign it at home, you apostille and translate. And with that power of attorney, we can start your process in your name.
So I have two more questions. We just had a bit of hiccup here. What is the chances? There's a question from somebody. What is the chance that the government will change and basically make push the law into a worse situation? Or basically, I think that the radicals say that they're going to say surrogacy is illegal in Argentina.
I
What
don't
is the
think we
chances?
have I don't think we have that in agenda. Argentina has a lot of other problems. And to say that, yes, we have a lot of other problems. And if the government decides to include to say illegal, surrogacy is illegal, they'll need to change the penal code, you said. Please, Emmanuel, help me with translation. How do you say Código Penal?
כאילו החוק.
Okay.
כאילו שינוי של החוק.
They're gonna have to actually change the law, and it takes time, I
Yes,
guess, and gives
specifically,
time to
because-
people to stop.
Yes, because, for example, when like 10 years ago, we didn't have abortion regulated, and it was illegal to interrupt pregnancy. And this was in the penal code. So when we had this law that regulates interruption of pregnancy, we had to change this code because it was included as a felony, you say? No, as a felony? Okay, so you need to, there's a lot of work. There's some people like trying to work to regulate surrogacy, not to make it illegal, to regulate it. They cannot regulate it in a law. So less they are going to convert surrogacy in illegal.
Yeah, and I think that there's one of the things that I noticed in Argentina is that feminism is very strong here compared to many places that I've been in the world.
Yes.
I don't know if women will be okay with somebody deciding what to do with their body and what not to do with their body.
No, yes. That's a very important movement we have here. Yes. My body, my decision.
So does the surrogate have any rights for the child? I mean, after giving birth, can she say, I want to keep this baby, it grew in my body?
No.
What happened if she will say that? If she'll go and say, this is my baby?
First of all, she signed in front of a public notary that she didn't want to be the mother of the baby. And she doesn't 100% doesn't have genetic connection with the baby. And when she signed, she didn't have procreational will, so she can't. We don't have any case in the past, never ever here.
Okay. I mean, I witnessed the other way around more time that the parents don't come to pick the baby up.
Yes.
In that case, I think that the baby will not stay with the surrogate, but will go to basically adoption if that's happened, because it's a baby that been deserted by.
In Argentina, as the same you do in other countries, during pregnancy, you need to design tutor because nobody knows what can happen.
So that's a good question because in Canada and I think in us, we also need to make sure that our intended parents have a will. So basically, if something happened to the intended parents, whose baby it's going to be. So if that applies, so if we have intended parents that are in their will, they say if something happened to them, this person is going to be the godfather, and will Argentina accept that?
Yes, that works for Argentina's law.
Okay.
It's the best interest of the child.
Okay, perfect. I don't think there's any more questions. Oh, maybe one more. Is there criterias for the reason why a doctor will agree or not agree to terminate after week 14?
I don't know. You may ask a doctor.
So I think a lot of the controversy is the Down syndrome. Like, what do people say about the Down syndrome?
Okay, yes, I will say this. When parents, they ask me that question, I always say that all the embryos that you are having are very, very, very ultra tested. So
that's not the case with everyone. It's not every clinic is doing the PGTA. And if they're doing the PGTA, which is accurate but not 100% accurate, I know that us as putting the North American standard, we insist that every single client of us will get a NIPT, which is another confirmation for the health of the baby, which in week 10 to 12, but not everybody has that. So
I don't know, Sam. Every doctor asks when they realize that babies come with Down syndrome, they offer to interrupt pregnancy, but it maybe has to know if
and
there's
is
risk.
that decision of the surrogate or decision of the intended parents?
Intended parents. But
What happened if the intended parents said yes and the surrogate said no?
okay, agency is going to work on this. When you decide or you choose a surrogate for these intended parents, you need to explain her what do intended parents want or think about interruption. If she says, I am a Catholic woman, because we have a lot of Catholic people here, and church is against abortion, so she's not your surrogate. It's a red flag. You need to check that before starting. It's important when they know each other that they talk about this. It's life, and you can respect that if she's a Catholic woman, she doesn't want to abort, and intended parents, they maybe want to abort, so she's not the correct surrogate for these intended parents.
Right. And this is a question I think we answered, but I'll ask again. Have any international intended parents have been able to leave Argentina with their babies after the judge decision in June?
Yes. If they receive today their birth certificates, they go tomorrow to the airport, and the day past tomorrow, they can pick up the flight.
Is the new situation supposed to impact on embryos that were created outside of
No.
No,
If
because
you
that
have your
doesn't.
yes, if you have your embryos in Canada, you can deliver with a courier here. Clinics, doctors, they are okay with that. And for Argentina, is the same treatment.
We have a program that offers to people that are in different
To bring
countries.
their, yes, to bring
And
their
we also
embryos.
have the program the opposite, creating embryos here and ship them
Yes.
to surrogacy in Israel, because it's not expensive to create the embryos here, and they're very good quality, and we have
Yes.
Caucasian people here. I'm just seeing if I think there's one more. Said, is there a difference in registering as a male couple as parents, or it's easier to register as one parent? Is
No,
there a
it's the
difference
same.
between?
No, it's the same for us. You will find here, not a lot of cases, but you'll find here that after judge authorization, there are babies with 3 parents. Not a lot, but we have cases with 3 parents. So it's the same for
That's
us.
very interesting. It's in Canada, there's also up to 5
Yes, you
on the
told
birth
me,
certificate.
yes.
Depend
Yes.
where, but it's very interesting that we can have up to 3 parents, because that shows a little bit of
You
how
always
open
need,
the society
you
is.
always need to go to a judge to obtain that authorization, but it's always best interest of the child.
So basically, based on our conversation today, or let's summarize that versus the article that came out, or the rumors that came out and everything. Let's do a quick summary, if you don't mind, and you will do it, and just tell us, this is the thing: legal, not legal, have a risk to go through in surrogacy, what are the last advices that you want to, and even talk about some of the programs and the agencies out there, and what to be cautious with.
I will say these highlights, do you say? So
Yes.
surrogacy, it's legal. Surrogacy is not forbidden. We are undergoing some administrative adjustments, only administrative adjustments. We are changing the mode we are registering babies. Just be careful when you start your journey, which is the agency you are going to pick up. Please control protocols. Be sure the criteria they have to choose surrogates. Be sure to protect many embryos. Be sure to know the doctor. If you need to interview a doctor, doctors always be available. Be sure which is the hospital where your baby is going to be born. Be sure that you have health insurance, life insurance, and enjoy the ride. It's a wonderful process.
I don't know about the wonderful. It's a nerve-wracking process.
It was a wonderful process. I would never change my story. It was a wonderful process for me. I am always grateful.
That's really great. You know, I know that some of them are not, and this is one of the reasons that the Babies Come True, we chose to be here. To be here to support intended parents, to make sure, because there's a lot of things, a lot of time people can tell us, sure, we do this, the clinic will tell us, sure, we'll do that, sure, we'll get the surrogate, but we're here to really be on the ground and making sure that things
yes.
are what people are.
There's a lot of actors. There's a process with a lot of actors. Somebody needs to coordinate this. Somebody needs to control. And in Argentina, you will find a very friendly city. You will find very good doctors, very good hospitals, and very good people. So I always say Argentina is the best place to do surrogacy.
Okay, perfect.
And if they ask, why did I go to the United States? Because my kids, they are 12 years old now. And first case, surrogacy in Argentina was 2 years later. So that's why I went to another country. Now I am an old woman and I don't want more kids. But if I had to start over, I will do my process here.
What is how long has international surrogacy has been going on in Argentina? Because a lot of people here thinks that it's brand new, because for Israel.
I think so. Yes, we have a lot of cases from people from here. Like 12 years ago, 11 years ago, we have a lot of Argentinian people, and a lot of other people went to other countries as United States, Ukraine, Georgia. When war started and pandemic started, a lot of people started here from Argentina to do surrogacy here, not going outside. And a lot of people from abroad come here because they saw we had a very good place to do surrogacy. We have very good laws. Argentina is very open-minded. So you don't need to be married. You don't need to be same-sex couple. You don't need to be heterosexual couple. You can be single father, single mother. There's a lot of possibilities here. Nobody's going to judge your style of life.
That's great. I mean, as a person that moved here in February, I see that this is a super open and respectful and you know, definitely one of the best places in the world that I be in. I'm actually feel
it's very
blessed
friendly
to be here.
And the city is a beautiful city.
City is great, and
Something
that's another thing. Like a lot of
European.
people are afraid and saying, "Oh, Argentina, it's dangerous." Is that? And I mean, I
No,
can say, I mean,
every
every big city
big
has
city.
problems, but
Yes,
I think that what we see here is
you have
very.
a lot of museums, spectacles, theaters, films, culture, bookstores. You have a lot of things to do. For me, it's a very friendly city, very European city. So just enjoy.
Perfect. Well, Silvina, I know it took a bit longer, but it's very important that we had questions. I don't think there's any other questions here. But if you have any questions, let us know. We'll be happy to do that. We also will be happy to coordinate for you a conversation with Silvina if it's that applicable. Thank you so much for being here. Silvina, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
You're very busy today, especially with all these new changes. And thank you so much for being here and taking the time to explain.
Thank you very much. I love to work with you. So
thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.